Welcome back, traders. This is Ryan with another trade review, and today for this video you're gonna get a 2-for-1. So I went ahead and recorded a trade on Tuesday, February 6th, but because I was busy, I wasn't able to go ahead and do the voiceover. So I'm pairing it up with another trade I did today on Wednesday in order to combine the two videos and just do the review all at once. So let's go ahead and get started on Tuesday's trade. So coming into Tuesday's trade, I had a bullish bias. I'm looking for the relative highs up here, along with, you can see we have Friday's high, so that is another relative high that I'm looking for price to go and take on the higher time frame. At 9:30 open, price rallied up without taking the buy side liquidity here, and it dipped down below the swing low. So I'm looking for some sort of retracement, perhaps into an optimal trade entry or into this fair value gap, or even sweep the lows here. And I'm looking for that breaker pattern that I like so much in order to get into an entry to take out the relative highs here. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will speed this up to 8 times. So per usual, if you like these kind of trade reviews, go ahead and give me a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as I get my next trade in. Right now we see price rallying up into this fair value gap here. Now I want to see price go above this fair value gap and use it as an inversion fair value gap in order to get in for a ride up above these highs. But again, I'm looking for that breaker pattern. We see we don't get that. It looks like there's a rejection, so we could be looking for a deeper retracement. I'm looking for price to perhaps take the low here and go into this fair value gap, and I want to see the highs taken out here. On the higher time frame, we can note a larger fair value gap here. I'm actually combining both of these fair value gaps together. And it's looking like it's going to sweep the lows. Now on the higher time frame, you can see I'm marking out other fair value gaps below the price right now. So I want to see price create a short-term high. Then I want to see the lows being swept here and then break above the high to create that breaker pattern. So right now I'm just being patient, waiting for the setup. Another thing to note is we could just be in a bearish market right now, and we're leaving these for Wednesday or later this week. Also, another thing to note, like if you look at these candles that we've been having on the 5-minute, we see wicks overlapping the bodies. So this indicates that there was a lot of up and down movement between here. So these could be balanced price range, and we may not have a rally today. It could just be a bearish day. So I'm looking at this fair gap here. I want to see the body of this candle close either at the midpoint or above. I don't want to see the body close below this fair value gap. Okay, it's going too far deep into it. Here, I do like this wick. I do like this rally up here. But it looks like we closed below the fair value gap, so now I'm looking at the next one. Now, I am coming into today with a bullish bias. If it's not a bullish day, well, that just means I won't get my trade today for profit. I may take a loss today. So here, this fair value gap looks promising. It didn't quite get into it, but we could have a short-term high form, then a sweep of the lows into this fair value gap, and then we can have our breaker once it takes out that swing high. So I'm patiently waiting, just wanting to see a breaker form. And I'm going down into the lower time frames, into the 1 minute time frame, the 2 minute time frame, and just looking to see what I can find. Here we see prices rallying into this fair value gap. Just keeping an eye on how it performs here. And I went ahead and put in a couple entries because I'm down on the lower time frame. And I'm starting to see that breaker formation. Now on the 5 minute, you can see that it doesn't look like much. But here we drop down into the 1 minute chart, and we can see that I'm looking at this as a breaker. We have a swing high here. We have a low to high. We swept underneath the low and we broke above the high. So here I have my entry in a fair value gap in the breaker, and I have my stop right below the fair value gap candles. Price is going into this fair value gap here. Currently it's using a resistance, but I want to see it bust through above it. And I'm using projections here for my target price. And quickly I get stopped out. So went ahead and took a 17 handle loss, negative $35 on the day. Now I'll just go ahead and spoil it. Price didn't do too much to rally. Pretty much just chopped around here, went a little bit lower and chopped around some more. So I'll go ahead and fast forward the video just to show you the price action. We did get a rally, so I was a little optimistic here looking at this as an intermediate swing low. But you can see that we never really get above this before we create another low here. And price is kind of just chopped around. We did take the swing high here, but not by much. It wasn't, I wouldn't really see this as displacement. It's more like a sweep. And we're just consolidating, coming up into the lunch hour. Again, we took the highs, but not much in terms of displacement. And just remember where I'm back on the 5 minute now. And we see price displaced lower. And being bullish today, this was not what I was looking for. Now, we could have, if price should take the swing high out, we could have a breaker with this low, this high, and the sweep of this low right here. But we need to see displacement above this high for that market structure shift. And coming into lunch hour, I'm thinking we may consolidate some for lunch, or if there's going to be a retracement, we could see that breaker formation right away. Here we do get a little bit of a rally, but it's kind of just going into a bearish breaker here. But I'm still looking for prices to take out this high for a market structure shift. If I don't get it, then I'm not going to be entering into any trades. And it's kind of getting late in the day. We're in the afternoon session right here, and I'm waiting for 2 o'clock to see if we get some sort of reaction. And seeing more displacement lower, I'm not really excited about the price action here, especially when I'm bullish. It looks like it could be taking out the swing lows here. We have a old low, so relative lows, and we have relative highs. So right now we have these two extremes, and we're just in this range right now. Now, I went ahead and just call it a day right here. It's already getting pretty late for any significant moves. And plus Tuesday, there was not any news in the afternoon whatsoever. So I'm thinking it could probably just consolidate for the rest of the day or even sweep the lows here. And if that does happen, I'll be looking Wednesday for a trade above the relative highs up here. Okay, here's the 5-minute chart for Wednesday, February 7th. And it's already almost 11 o'clock. Just run down the morning action. We have relative lows here for London, but price decided to go ahead and rally up. Here we have 8:30, and then at 9:30 opening, we did drop down a little bit, kind of chopped around, but we took the swing low here just barely, and then price decided to rally up above the the relative highs, and even above the all-time highs on Nasdaq. So Nasdaq has created all-time highs now, and it is getting close to 11. And what I'm looking here is, even though I was bullish on the day, because it had already completed the buy side objectives, I'm thinking that Nasdaq could have some retracement, and I'm seeing a high here with a low and a higher high and the break below the low. So this is that breaker formation, a bearish breaker. So I'm dropping down into the lower time frame to take a trade, perhaps into this large fair value gap here. So let's go ahead and start the video. It is at 8 times speed right now, but I will slow it down once we get into the action. So here you're seeing the 1 minute, but it doesn't look quite clear to me. You'll see that I've switched to a little bit higher time frame. Here we have the 2 minutes, still not so very clear. We have a little bit of chop here, but I went ahead and enter. Well, I'm hesitating right here, but I'm looking at this fair value gap for my entry right here, and I'm highlighting. I believe this is a 3-minute fair value gap. I do now the price is going down below it. I am looking for this to be an inversion in the future, but I still have my entry. I'm just got it all ready here, waiting for price to retrace, and I will be putting in my order for this fair value gap here. And my stop will be above this high, looking at this as a bearish breaker. But like I said, 2-minute wasn't that clear, so I went ahead and switched to a 3-minute chart. You can see this is a little bit clearer. We have a high, low, higher high, and the displacement lower for that breaker formation here. And I went ahead and put in my order. You can see right here I have a sell order at 17,847.5. It's going to be this fair value gap, and I got my stop above this high. So I'm looking for price to trade into the BISI here, and going from the top to the bottom, we have equilibrium at this line. So we create a short-term swing low, and here price is rallying up. And I went ahead and got executed on that short. So now using projections, I am looking for price to trade into this fair value gap. But remember, today was pretty bullish. We had a nice rally up. I expect the close on the day to be bullish, to be on the upside. I'm not expecting a reversal just yet on today. Perhaps Thursday could have a reversal, but today I just want to be a little conservative. You can see I even have my target price above the fair value gap. So I am trying to be conservative, even though I'm expecting price to drop even lower, perhaps into this old swing high or the all-time high previously. But you can see that I'm risking about 22.25 handles, and I'm going for 44.5. So I'm going for a 2-to-1 reward to risk. I do like the rejection here. Our price went into the fair value gap, and it looks like we are rejecting away from it. Now I want to see price come down and use this old fair value gap as a inversion. And if price should break below the swing low, I'm looking to put my stop perhaps somewhere above the swing high or somewhere in this area here. But it's so close to my TP, like If it does break below the swing low, I expect my TP to just go ahead and get hit. Here we can see it's getting very close. And I'm ready to move that stop as soon as it breaks below it. But price starts to rally. It didn't, but it did create these relative lows. So now I'm thinking, okay, they are setting up a trap. They're making people think this is the lows as a support, and price will go up higher here. So people will be putting their sell stops below this low. I'm looking at this fair value gap as an inversion fair value gap, and I went ahead and put my stop right here. So now I'm break even. Now if I get stopped out, I don't really care. I will be break even on a day, didn't lose any money. But the importance of this stop is that it's above the mean threshold of this candle, and it's also above the inversion fair value gap. If price starts getting above this fair value gap, I would not be happy, and I may close the trade prematurely. But I really like how we just wicked into it and we're getting a nice rejection here. So I'm looking for my TP to get hit. And if it breaks below these lows, I could move my stop loss above these highs or even just right above the inversion fair value gap. But looks like my TP will probably just go ahead and get hit. You can see I have my cursor on the cancel button. So as soon as I get my TP, I'm going to cancel my stop. And right here, I got my order filled. So you see this candle coming down, it barely got me. I was perhaps 1 or 2 ticks off. Now this was a little annoying, so I was already ready to close it should it move away from my TP. But luckily the next candle went ahead and just barely got me. I don't even think it went into the fair value gap. It went 1 tick below my TP, so I was very fortunate in getting this trade off. I wouldn't stop the video here, but later on in the day, price did rally up. If I didn't get this TP off, if I try to be more greedy and look for somewhere underneath equilibrium, I probably would have gotten stopped out before I took profit. So this was pretty lucky today. Okay, so last thing here's the spreadsheet. You can see that I recorded the trades for the 6th and the 7th. Here's the long. That was net minus $35. Took a 1 contract full stop loss here. Then on the 7th, went short, net about $87 for a 2 reward to risk, just 1 contract, and that was 26 minutes. So we're sitting around $10,127. So with the $87 win, I have recovered more than half of the previous 3 losses. So if I want to, I have the option to size up for my next trade, but I can still be conservative and stick with that 0.5% risk. Now, I will be taking a trip in the next 2 weeks, so I may not have much coming out in terms of my channel, but I will bring my laptop with me, and if I make any trades, I will make sure to try and record those. But I may not be able to do a voiceover until I get back. So probably be about 2 weeks before I get anything out to you. Thank you for your understanding. But go ahead, hit the like button if you like these kind of trade reviews. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification so you get the videos as soon as I get back. And until next time, good luck trading.